Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Is it working? Use the given 0. That's the given 0. To find all real zeros of each function. Then write the linear factorization of P of x. So right now, we've been practicing a lot of synthetic division lately, so we're going to continue to do that. So we're going to continue practicing synthetic division. All right? Going to draw it nice and neat. I realize this is not the book's way, but I don't like doing this and then having a line. I like doing it this way. So right now, you see this 2i? Put the 2i right there. Now, we're going to have x to the 4th, give a little space. X to the 3rd, little space. X squared, little space. So, hopefully you see that. All right. Jace, how many x to the 4ths do I have? 1, good. CJ, how many x cubes? Good. Kate? Good. Leo? Negative 20 is right. Good job.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
10, last one.
No, I feel 6.
We're going in order. X to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared, x to the 1st, x to 0. Very good. Now we're going to do synthetic division like we normally do it, except now, what's the only tricky part? What do we have to deal with? It's okay. Just do the process. Trust the process and everything will be fine. Bring down the 1. What's 2i times a 1?
2i.
Now, are these like terms? No. So we actually have to take a 2i and a minus 5, and we're bringing that down. Okay? It's okay. Just bring it down. It'll be fine. Now, everybody over here to the side, what I'm going to do is we have a 2i right here. And I actually have to multiply that to a 2i, and I have to multiply that to a negative 5. So what's 2i times 2i? That becomes 4i squared, but wait, what does I squared become? So this actually becomes a negative 4. So put a negative 4 right here. And 2i times a negative 5 is a negative 10i. So what do I have to put right here? I have to also put a negative 10i. Now what combines here that are like terms? 8 and a negative 4. So what is 8 minus 4? 4. So put 4 minus 10i. Because 8 minus 4 is 4. All right, if you need to pause the video and rewind it multiple times, please do so. All right, so here we go. The next part we're going to do, because I'm recording, Blue, you need to rewind it. We're taking 2i and we're multiplying it to this. So right now, I'm going to scoot over here. I'm going to do 2i. 2i. And we're going to multiply it to 4 minus 10i. My suggestion, until you get really good at this, write it out and do each step. Okay? So 2i times 4 is 8i. So right here, I'm going to write 8i. Now 2i times a negative 10i is a negative 20i squared. But what we talked about was every time you see an I squared, what do you need to think it's? Negative 1. So I'm going to say 8i minus 20 times a negative 1. And what does that become? That's right. So yes, 8i. Put plus a 20. Now this is where it gets really exciting, or it should get really exciting. I mean, as far as exciting goes, it's not Disneyland exciting, or Universal Studios in Orlando, which you totally go to. Harry Potter. Awesome. Not that type of exciting, but negative 20 and positive 20 do cancel out, and what are you left with now?
8i.
Yes, 8i. And this should make us really excited, because 2i is negative 16. Now, if you're like, wait a second, I don't understand how you got a 2i and an 8i. So listen, 2i times 8i is 16i squared, but 16i squared is like saying 16 times negative 1, which becomes negative 16. So is 2i a root of this?
Yes.
Because the remainder is
0.
very good. Now, everybody, prepare for your minds to be good. Oh, yes. Everybody, right now, bring down a 1. Oh, yes. Bring down a 2i minus 5. Follow the pattern. You're bringing down this. You're like, I am so confused. This is crazy. What the heck are you doing to me? It's a Friday. Shouldn't we be doing something other than math on Friday? No. Now, let me explain to something. If this turns out to be a root or a 0 or a solution to a problem, if a 2i becomes 1, then you know for a fact that its country cousin, negative 2i, will also work. So we're going to use negative 2i right here. So set it up, get ready to solve. Now, I realize that this looks way more complicated than what we just did, but it actually turns out to be a heck of a lot easier. Just watch and see. What do we bring down? We bring down a 1. What is a negative 2i times a 1?
Negative 2i. Look, I goes away. Now you have negative 5.
Okay, slow down. All right, the person watching is like, slow down, people. 2i minus 2i cancels out. So what am I left with? Just a negative 5. But wait, we multiply a negative 2i times a negative 5, and we get a
positive 10i.
Well, hold on. Now, does everybody understand we got negative 2i times negative 5, that's a positive 10i. Why am I happy about this? Because I see a negative 10i and a positive 10i. And what does it leave me with?
4.
All right, Shayla. What do we multiply? Just tell. I'm not going to do it. What do we multiply right here?
0.
Thank you, Shayla, not Blue. Blue, what's negative 2i times 4? Yes. And what does this leave me with? 0. Everybody, I'm letting you know. This represents your x squared. This represents your x to the first. This represents your x to the 0. So right underneath this, or to the side, or on the next page, whatever you're doing, write down x squared minus 5x plus 4. So, what's your factorization of p of x? Here's what you have. P of x, you're going to write, equals x minus 2i times x plus 2i times x squared minus 5x plus 4. Yes, for all of you mathematical geniuses out there, I realize this. Don't scold me, because I realize this is not the final answer, so don't scold me. All right? I'm just letting you know you need to write stuff down and then recognize, wait a second, yes, this right here can also be factored. So before you correct me online or leave a comment that you can't leave, because I turned off the comments because I don't care what you think. Okay? You can factor x squared minus 5x plus 4. X minus 4 and x minus 1 is correct. Is negative 4 plus negative 1 is negative 5, and negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. And this answer right here, CJ, you can put that answer in the bank because that is the final answer. Deposit it, and you will get a good return.